All right, Akim. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors the apostles and elders, great millstone, for teaching us his truth. And salutations to the sincere Akim and Aquath and listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Akwai. I'm back in here with another quick, on Lord's will as always, an edifying lesson. And for today's lesson, I'm just going to be going through this guy. A lot of you, definitely know him. His name's Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an idiot. I'm just gonna put it, plain. And I was actually just reading through some of the things he was saying in regards to, the Roman Empire, right? And so his is his quote. He says, "Rome fell because Romans stopped making Romans." So he was having an interview with this guy named Lex Fridman, right? And basically his conclusion was pretty much the Roman Empire fell just because they stopped making Romans, right? And we know that, pursuant to Daniel, the 7th chapter, all those kingdoms that came, they had their time essentially to rule, and eventually it came to a conclusion, right? It came to an end, right? So, there's a lot more to there's a lot more to the puzzle that this guy's missing, because he's extolled as somebody who is, they're seen as wise. Tesla is the essentially groundbreaking because they are very innovative in the sense that, okay, they're making vehicles that are essentially supposed to supposedly help the environment, but this guy's an idiot, right? So as a matter of fact, I don't want to make the lesson too long, but I just wanted to kind of discuss a little bit about his, like, I guess his track record, so to speak. Is that Job 32? Okay, this is Job 32, verse 9, and it says, "Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment," right? So he's somebody who is seen as a great man, supposedly, in this society. He's extolled. His opinions are well revered, so to speak. That people want to consult about him in regards to, things that are going on in the world, so to speak. He is somebody who is, he represents essentially the rich man in this society, right? And we know, obviously, there are people who are rich. We know about the elites that are above him, so on and so forth. The Rothschilds, Rockefellers. But the point is, he's somebody who's seen as, I don't want to say God in a sense, but they're just somebody who is well worshipped in society for somebody who's being a groundbreaker, or somebody who's being very innovative, or somebody who's being, challenging the status quo. You know what I'm saying? Let me go to the Apocrypha. Okay, let me just dive into a little bit about some of the things, he said. I was just reading some of these comments on Reddit, and it says, people can't afford to have babies, Elon, right? The Roman Empire fell. It says, sorry, Rome fell because the Romans stopped doing something which I don't like. Let me just jump down a little bit. He was essentially, in the interview, he was equating everything to Rome falling to essentially just because they stopped making babies. So I want to just jump to this other article I have here. And Lord's will, I'll probably do another lesson on it, and it just really dives deep into some of the reasons they fell, right? So this is history.com. I can always put the links in the description, essentially. And it says invasion. So some of the reasons, so here it says 8 reasons why Rome fell. So it says invasions by barbarian tribes. It says economic troubles and over-reliance on slave labor, right? So this is something that you're actually seeing, in this society, essentially, right? Because you have a lot of people who are coming into this country, and they don't have papers, right? You know, this country has a huge what's it called, um, undocumented immigrant crisis. You know, have a lot of people coming in on work permits. They're being promised a lot of these things. You know, promise, you know, residence and citizenship, so on and so forth. And this is not the case at all, right? Um, it says here another reason was the rise of the Eastern Empire, right? It says an overexpansion and military overspending, right? And we know America, you know, their budget when it comes to the military spending, you know, their military spending is a lot more than a lot of these other NATO countries, right? And remember, if you recall back in what's his name? Donald Trump, during his last administration, he was pushing a lot of these NATO and what's it called, EU nations to essentially, you know, increase, you know, their military spending, right? And I don't remember the guy's name. I believe he was one of the heads at NATO, and he essentially was saying, you know, like, you know, you have to be mindful, pretty much of how you talk to your allies, right? So, you know, what's going on? We know it's prophecy, right? And personally, this is I think, you know, Trump's is the example and the perfect example to kind of fan the flames as to why these other nations will hate the whore, pursuant to Revelation 17, right? So here it says government corruption is another reason. It says government corruption and political instability. It says if Rome's sheer size made it difficult to govern, ineffective and inconsistent to leadership only served to magnify the problem, right? So, you know, this is something that, again, we're starting to see that as well playing out, because we're starting to see 2 Esdras 15 playing out, where people will not regard their kings or their princes, right? And there's a strong disdain for the rulers who are ruling at the moment, right? There's more here. It says, Christianity and loss of traditional values. It says a weakening of Roman legions, right? So, you know, there are multiple reasons, you know, that made this country, sorry, that made that empire fall, right? You know, they had their time to rule, obviously, we know that. And, you know, eventually they fell, right? But I didn't want to dive too much into each individual reason. Lord's will, I'll get, you know, a bit more into it in another lesson. But the point I really wanted to grab is this individual here that is seen and extolled as somebody who is very, very smart is really just an idiot. So earlier this year, just an example, as a matter of fact, let me get this precept. Just bear with me. Okay, this is Sirach chapter 13. Just bear with me. Where should I start? I'll start at verse 21. It says, a rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. Verse 22. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, yet men justify him, right? So you see, you know, people would justify an individual like Elon Musk because, you know, he's seen as somebody he's rich, you know, his opinions are well revered, you know, he's quote unquote righteous, seen as righteous in this society, he's seen as somebody who is you know, somebody who is you know, a pinnacle of of what's the word I'm looking for, of breaking grounds, so to speak. He's somebody who is very seen as somebody very intelligent, right? um, Continuing on, it says, the poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. They spake wisely and could not have no place. Verse 23, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look, what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. Right? So they hold what he says in a very, very high regard. This guy is, he's spitting out gold. He knows what he's talking about. Right? This is how they look at individuals like Elon Musk. Right? He's Tesla, he's this entrepreneur, he's going to Mars and he's going this and he's going there and so on and so forth, you know. Verse 20, continuing on in verse 23, and it says, if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. So it shows you the different mentality of how people would treat somebody like Elon Musk versus somebody, like the apostles, the prophets, because we don't look like the people who are extolled in this society. We're not well dressed, a lot of us stammer, we have, how do you call those things? Like, we we speak very rough. Paul says, I might be rude in speech, but not in knowledge, right? So, we don't come off as people who are very, very well, as, what's it called? What's the word they use? Politically correct in this society. And this is the type of individual, and seen in guys like Elon Musk. They're seen as somebody who is well held in high regard, as opposed to the prophets, right? As opposed to our apostles. They were very, very rough individuals, right? That's really the point I kind of want to bring out in this lesson as well, because, we know that the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he deals with the lowly, right? So we know there is a lot more to what this individual is, or rather, there's not what is more to the equation, right? As to why, and another reason why Rome fell. I don't think this the website didn't mention this, but essentially another one was what's it called, the dollar, right? The metals in the dollar as well. We know America did the same thing Rome did, because in Rome you had the coin known as the denarius, and eventually they began to debase the currency, right? And essentially what happened is America has also done the same thing back in the 1970s, right? I believe it was Richard Nixon, right? He stopped the convertibility, from and removing that gold standard, where gold was the metal of an intrinsic value that was backing the U.S. dollar. The US dollar was good as gold, they used to say. But, that's no longer the case, right? There is nothing actually supporting and backing up this physical dollar that Americans are using today, right? So, Rome essentially did the same thing, right? Debasing the currency and mixing it with more inferior metals, right? So, we know that's why I'm bringing these things up, because Elon Musk is not, he's seen as somebody who is very smart and he can fix the problem, fix Babylon, so to speak, just by having quote unquote more Romans, having more children, right? You're living in a society where people can't even afford to actually get a house. So if that's the case with young people, why on earth are they going to have children? You know what I'm saying? He's somebody that's an idiot, right? And the other article I wanted to read, was his mess that he made. Hold on. So this happened earlier this year. It was the remote Amazon tribe. They were hooked on internet thanks to Elon Musk and his Starlink, right? So I'm just going to read a little snapshot of it. So essentially, the young people in the village started becoming a lot more lazy. They said one of the elders said to the people in the tribe have become lazy and learning the ways of white people, and but they still ask for internet access to remain, right? So now you're starting to see a lot of death and decline being detrimental to the development of these individuals here in this particular tribe, because Elon Musk took it up, he took and started setting up, Starlink inside of this Amazonian tribe, and they began to be addicted to. As a matter of fact, I'll just read a little bit more. It says Marubo, the leader of a Marubo Association of Villages, told the NYT he's especially unsettled by the newfound prevalence of pornography among the tribe's young men. Though the tribe's traditional culture frowns upon public romantic affections like kissing, Alfredo said many boys have been sharing sexually explicit videos in group chats. Even video games, namely first person shooters, have become an issue among the tribe, and some of the elders worrying that it would inspire copycat violence, right? So we're starting to see a decline in their traditional values. They've started becoming addicted to this thing, right? So let me get another precept here. Okay, this is Revelation 6 and 4, and it says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat upon piece of the earth, and they should kill one another. And there was given to him a great sword," right? So we know that Esau was blessed with the sword, getting that blessing from his forefather Isaac. And we know this is the way he would rule, and acquire the fatness of the earth, right? But this is the vibration that Esau gives off. He's somebody who emanates death. He emanates essentially death, right? He's not somebody that promotes pro-life. He promotes philosophies that are actually that are contrary to life, that are contrary to the scriptures, that are contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments. Bestiality. He promotes feminism. He promotes alphabet lifestyle. This is the way that he poisons the minds of the people, right? And those philosophies, when you think about it, they trickle down into a lot of these other countries, and a lot of these countries, pursuant to the scriptures, are also mad because of this, right? Because the scriptures say that the nations have drunken of that wine, therefore the nations are mad, right? So there's a lot that Elon Musk he does not know, right? He's an idiot. Just calling a spade, right? I'll just get this last precept here. 1 Corinthians 1. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians 1 verse 26, and it says, hold on. Verse 26, and it says, "For ye see your calling, brethren, that not many wise men after the flesh are called, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But the Most High hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the Most High Yahweh hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and the base things of the world, the things which are despised, hath the Most High Yahweh Bashem Shai chosen, yea, the things which are not, to bring to naught the things that are," right? So the base things and the lowly things are the things that the Lord will use to confound these different what do you call those people? People who are held in high regard in this society, because they have the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Shai to tear down these strongholds that are weighing on the people, because this world is engulfed in gross darkness, right? So I'll leave it there, but that's pretty much the point I kind of wanted to kind of communicate. Hopefully this is a quick video, edifying. Just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Until next time, I say Shalom.